Well, this is just, I don't know. You never know. It's, what, 38 minutes past 12. Um, I've just downloaded recently some editing software, but haven't as yet sussed how to transfer videos made in Facebook into the software. uh, there you go. So I might have to use what I consider the unconventional or in whatever software where you shoot a video and then you've got to wait ages for it to be processed and then it's uploaded. But that's probably the way it is. It's not geared, as far as I can see, to take videos made in Facebook. Whatever. I thought you could just download the video, get it on a file, a folder, and then transfer it in. Not a. Probably can, but I've yet to suss that out. It's hot, warm here. That's probably affecting me. I've taken quite a few lithium because my mind's a bit racing. Lithium orotate, which I don't take regularly. Totally harmless anyway. But and was looking at some of my colloidal minerals that I have under the pyramid. One bottle's out of date, but I was waffling on about that in the previous video, how we need 60 essential minerals in our soil wherever we are growing our food. And if those 60 plus essential minerals aren't there, the food that you grow is still going to be lacking in these essential minerals. So it could still be organic, but if the soil itself is depleted, which is unfortunately the situation in or on the planet, but this is the ND, that's naturopathic doctor's viewpoint. It's a very interesting thing to look into if you've got any health issues, not very happy with having to take synthetic drugs. But unfortunately, ND doctors are certainly not recognised in this country in the context that you can't go and see one on the national health. Then maybe you can, because it's the idea of this PIP scheme, which I'm just about to transfer onto, is that you're given the money and you decide. And if I was to decide, I don't know who you are, an unknown observer, you haven't clicked in, there's a one, but there's no name. But anyway, welcome. And that should be the way, because naturopathic medicine is far superior. No drugs, herbs, minerals, natural, that's the word, natural, substances, yes, but no synthetic drugs. Thank you very much. And I joined a website and just genned up about my own condition. Learned that, there's 60 essential minerals. They're very expensive to buy. That might change. Obviously, quite expensive to make. Youngativity is a manufacturer, if you like. But like anything, it depends where you value your health. But my approach for my condition or major condition, diabetes, is, and it's going to be hard for me to do and get together. Obviously, probably do need some support and whatever, is to go on a raw food diet. I learned about a place in America you can go, and often you can get in free because if you volunteer, it's a month-long program run by doctors who are dedicated, and they monitor you, obviously, very strictly every day. You're encouraged to stop taking your drugs, right? But still, you obviously continue to have your blood tests, and they can get people off their medication. Needless to say, you lose quite a bit of weight as well. But it's like everything at the moment, a bit curtailed because of lack of finances to go stomping off to America. Maybe locally, but even locally you'd have to pay, you have people that a manager, right? That oversees and takes you running or whatever else you might need to do. A personal trainer, there you go. And I don't think I'm in the league for that either. So I'm going to look on my little notes. Yeah, continuing story it is. Pyramids, white magic, planetary healing, Bosnian pyramid water. So maybe I'm stuck in a rut. Maybe not. I've started to get better equipment together to start doing my healing mandalas. I've got a proper light box now. Didn't used to use a light box. I go to the Elgin Library and it's got brilliant light in there. They've got light bulbs but are more nearer. This throat of mine every man. Yeah, face. Oh dear. If that's you, Sandra, which it might be, bless your heart. I'm very interested with chatting with people, but texting isn't a good thing for me. It's just me. I'll just weigh it up, If you can get together a means to actually video talk, various different options you've got, great. I'd love to have a chat, but I'm actually doing this video now, and there's no way I can stop and start texting or texting to you. But yeah, great. As I say, get it together. There's many different options you can do. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. I think one of the cheapest and best ways to get a second hand if you haven't got so much, an iPad. Brilliant, because you've got a lot bigger screen or any Apple computer, because they have their own video setup. I think I've never used it. FaceTime, I think it's called. But because there's not so much traffic on there, you get brilliant results. And all you've got to do is know the person's name or telephone number, and they have a Mac computer, and you're away. And I mean, you're really away, chatting to people, not all this texting stuff, but I won't go further on about that, but that's where I'm coming from. I finger type. It is just a real pain, especially if someone asks you quite an elaborate question and there's a lot to answer in it, Never got on with it. So I'm not being rude, far from it. As you saw, I did try and phone you via Messenger, but we didn't connect, so whatever. Anyway, where are we? Planetary healing. Now, I've shared about a vision, how can I put it? A prophetic dream that I've had, to do with the stopping of any possible nuclear holocaust or nuclear exchange via white magic. Now, in white magic, if you believe something can happen and you're open that this could possibly happen or work, whatever, it can. Intention is you're still appealing to the divine. So you're not going down that road, which is a tricky road. You're getting into, shall we say, grey or black magic when your will or your ego is coming into it. You must open it, any white magic you want to practice or experiment with, to a higher power. You could, if it's thy will be done, sort of thing. So I was talking about, I mean, it's brilliant, but it's just could be just your creative imagination, that electricity is an entity as well as water, right? Has consciousness, and if it's possible to appeal to electricity, pray and invoke, that electricity comes under, that's where you've got your higher power, if you like, the power of light. Meaning that the electricity would not work if there was going to be any possible circumstance where destruction could be facilitated, i.e. a nuclear missile silo, as an example. Right? So the electricity gains that consciousness and awareness through you invoking and praying that this takes place. And one of the most powerful universal prayers that you can use for this sort of work is called the Great Invocation. This is put out by an organization called the Lucis Trust, but it can be found now in other systems of teaching. Some people have modified it a wee bit because the word Christ is used. And Christ is more, in this context, a status. You can become Christed. So Jesus became Christed. So although there is a role, an avataric role, the Christ, right? We can all participate in this role if we're open to it and encourage it. So we can become Christed as Jesus became Christed. We can do greater things than me will you do in my name. Now that's a challenge given us by Christ, by the avatar. Right? But it's all contained. Like I said, we could easily slip into the black magic darker side where your will enters into this and there's a lot of ego and whatever. It would be honoured to a slight degree. But there's another concept which I mentioned in the ring pass not. So everything we attempt to do in this fashion is being observed and is helped to be facilitated. We never do anything alone. We have guides and helpers, which are people that we have met and been linked with in previous lives. It can even be your own relatives. This is where all your ancestor, it's not so much worship, but it's got misinterpreted, where people know that their ancestors hover around and keep an eye on them, but they can't interfere too much. And because they're no longer in a physical form, doesn't mean they have the wisdom, the spiritual realization to really, how can I put it, move you on. I went through the spiritualist church, and to me that's what was going on. In fact, I was even told by one medium, quote, "This isn't for you. You've got different work to do, and so, you won't stop here," which I didn't. I moved on. My father was very much into that, and he took me along as a young boy, and he set up his own healing school come session, not so much a school, but got together with other healers and had his own little system. It's done with just music playing, a minimum amount of speaking. A person might just need to be counseled or speak to someone to get worries off their mind, but the actual healing was done just by touching hands on the shoulders and, if necessary, other chakras. And I went even through a psychic healing course. This is in Southsea, which has got quite an active spiritualist church. And what generally happens is that mediums are brought in from other areas. So there is a collection. Obviously, these people have got to be paid their expenses to travel down and whatever. But you can actually, if you get a good church, get into some good quality or have access to some good quality mediumship. But if you just need to have proof, and for some reason want to connect into someone that's just recently departed and just want reassuring that they're okay, it's there. And whatever you need in that capacity, just put my hand up in the light. I've only got a small light here. It is coming up for 1 o'clock in the morning, so I have drawn closer. I've got my table. I haven't set it up. See, at the moment I'm having to lean forward, but this table will actually lift my laptop up, and it will just be, as it should be, basically level with my eyes, and I can sit up far better. I haven't set that up. I shared a bit as well. I have now got a proper light box, which I didn't. All the healing mandalas I made were just on a table in the library, but they had excellent lighting in there. And digital cameras are fantastic for working in low light thing. And plus the fact the image was put into some software, and that's where the mandala effect was created, because the various things are mixed around, and it isn't just a photograph of what is there, which could be silk scarves with Tibetan mantras, crystals. If I did one on CBD oil, where obviously at the center of the mandala structure was some CBD oil in a small dish. There's no limit to your imagination, and because you're working with layers, a lot of them had sacred places at the base. So I'd have a photograph of a sacred place, generally a big book. The book I used a lot, Sacred Sites by, sometimes this happens to me, it's annoying, but it's just slow. Judy Hall. And it's a big book, big format, and you've got these photographs of various planetary sacred sites. And the photograph carries the energy, again, if you're open to that, of that site. That's at the base, and on top of that you can put prayer flags, which is interesting because it's got the texture, and then you've got the Tibetan script and the colour. They come in nice, beautiful red, yellow, blue, primary nice colours, crystals, and sometimes if you didn't have a lot of crystals, you couldn't actually see them. They would get lost if you follow me in the design and the processing, but they were there. That's the important thing, that they were there. And the energy from the crystals was incorporated into the mandala. Oh, I have got it. Ah, bless you. So that's forthcoming. And if my financial circumstances could change, I have got a few things to sell. I don't think, actually, I haven't even looked into it. A return flight to Bosnia isn't going to cost the earth and a leg. I'd still have my benefits because I could still access them, and generally only go for a week or 2 weeks anyway. And it'd probably do me a lot of good. Well, I know it would. So I will probably have to use my pendulum about this soon. I mean, I am hoping to just connect him with someone who's been to the pyramids, has brought some water home with them, and is prepared to share it and sell me it. Obviously, I'd pay their costs to save me. Well, actually having to physically go there. Part of me says, well, there must be someone, but maybe there isn't. But if you see this, it's in the title, yeah, Boston Pyramid Water. Please forward it. If you feel, well, I think they, have been to the high again. Probably someone different, but I think they've been there. And you'll be doing me a great service, be facilitating me to get active back on the healing mandalas. I stopped and give it a rest, but I found my external hard drive. So although I've got 2 different Facebook accounts, and this is the second account. Yeah, the first account has got all the healing mandalas I produced, but more importantly, this external hard drive, which I'd backed up to, has got everything, so I could start putting out again ones that have already been put out as I feel the spirit moves me. So I've got a lot of work. The editing side isn't coming together so far. It might mean that I'll have to do a lot of these videos again using a different software, and where you can save the video and where it can be introduced or put into an editor. So maybe someone watching this, well, you can. It's easy to, take any video you've produced on Facebook, even though it's the live facility, right? Because most of the little videos aren't done that way. Obviously, they've been very professionally edited, graphics have been put in, whatever, and then are uploaded. Whereas I am using, the live video facility, but it's a lot quicker and convenient. Within minutes after you finish the video, it's uploaded because it's being processed as you do it. Whatever. Again, it's a learning curve, and this has been very therapeutic for me because it's like I say, the continuing story. As I do these, other things are coming into mind that I feel are irrelevant to share about myself. People. That's it. I had a little email message today. Can you tell me something about you? Right. Oh, if I'd had to type it, I only one finger type. I just wouldn't do it. This is so much easier. Just do a video and then send that. They can see you. It's live, and it's not two-way, but then through Messenger, and if you've got the right browser, Chrome, freely you can video talk with people. And then if you have a Mac computer, definitely worth looking into that, because you can get iPads on eBay and whatever very cheaply, second hand. You don't need to have the latest bells and whistles. They're far superior than a little mobile phone, which generally do cost a hell of a lot because of the smallness. All the technology is compact into a thing. I would suggest again to anyone that wants to go into that, it's the next step up to texting people, and far more fun, I feel, you know what I mean? Within minutes, you can get all your little questions out of where are you, who are you, because they can see you, you know what I mean? Because there's a lot going on like that, people putting up images that aren't them, and then suddenly the truth comes out when you eventually get to the point of, can you send us a photo? And then if they do, but it's a nonsense, because if you ever do meet them, it's all going to come out in the wash then, isn't it? Oh, well, that was my younger brother or whatever, or some photograph I downloaded from a magazine, bit of a joke, Well, I wouldn't think so. If I was seriously trying to meet a partner, which I'm not, if someone asks, I'm not intentionally, no, I'm not, I'm doing this. It's just what I am, I'm a priest, I'm a shaman. And my motivations are, I'm getting old, not so physically fit as I used to be then. I'll waffle on to that. This is a general pathway that Hindu people follow. You have your young life, you have your married life, if you have children and all the rest of it. And then when you reach, if you like, the sunset years, if you like, the mature years, that's classic. That they just go off, say goodbye to their relatives or family, daughters, children, and seriously take up spiritual practice. Whether it's to go off and do yoga, go off and study under a guru. And this is accepted in India. It's part of the culture. Here is a bit, because obviously once you reach that magic age, you are retired. So if you don't happen to be actively doing something to actively be involved with the community, but are now concentrating on study, prayer, relaxing, meditation, really de-stressing, because some of the things we do to earn our livelihood are, some of us are really blessed and lucky that if we happen to find a job that also helps us spiritually grow, and there are many jobs, any service activity you do can be part of a spiritual path. But a lot of us know we do things that, the very concept, the word that you use, soul-destroying activities. And in my mind you, I've had, there you go, the karmic luck that I had at a very early age was demonstrating signs of psychosis, was having psychosis, and at a very early age was told, don't worry about work. Because after I'd been sectioned, after I'd spent a month in hospital, and after I'd had malefium prescribed me, you do come down anyway. Once you calm down, if you happen to have got into a paranoid flight and that your hallucinations are very scary and you're, whoa, but then there's always the possibility, that it can happen again. And so most doctors would say to you after you've had that type of experience, well, just chill out, go to the drop-in and keep taking your medication or keep taking your tablets. It was actually a joke around the mental health scene that, you keep taking your tablets, mate, which didn't give you a lot of encouragement. Recovery wasn't a well-promoted concept. Peer support wasn't actively encouraged. Well, basically all these professional psychiatric helpers were doing themselves out of job, because basically the philosophy behind that is the best person to help you is someone that's also experienced psychosis. And you do this with alcoholism and that, the same thing. What's the best person to help an alcoholic? Someone that's been through alcoholicism. I mean, it is peer support. Yes, it's a tough regime if they've got to get off using alcohol as a prop or whatever. Far more effective to do that in a group context than trying to struggle on your own. Part of the reason could be that because you are lonely. So your companion is your alcohol. But back to the drawing board. Planetary healing. Very much concerned and connected with water. Now we could say, and quite scientifically verified and logically verified, that when civilizations have been subjected to a flood, on another level, it's a cleansing. I mean, we have the instance of fire, right? Is it Lot and the rest? That's an allegorical example given us in the Bible that there was and has been instances of where fire, very dramatic, I mean, whether it was lightning or whatever, and that the concept of total trust and obedience comes to mind. So, I did my hippie thing, but it had a spiritual impetus. The scripture that I took to heart and had put to the test is, quote, "The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Even the foxes have holes in there." And the other counter thing, I still think the same scripture. How much more so are the birds fed and the animals fed? So how much more so will you be? So you put yourself, as I did, signed off the dole, left this country, so I had no security, signed off the dole, and that's all on file. Else you just think you're mad, but they don't give a thing. It was a spiritual thing, and I went to Spain, and I did survive. And I did meet someone who also wanted to travel. I couldn't speak much Spanish, but he was my guide. Ended up living in gypsies in Almeria. But that came to a climax. They were quite obviously taken back that a Westerner would want to live in caves. Very simple, very poor, some of them. There was different scales, but someone just had potatoes, because that's what happened. Eventually I was invited to various families to have the evening meal with them, and it's a chance for them to get to know me. And a chance for me to integrate in. I think I collected some wood, started to do simple tasks like that, but they let us stay in this cave. Obviously, it was empty, and they had a campfire in the evening where everything was openly, brought up. If there's any conflicts or anything, it's all done in front of the community. There were elders, but if you like, but that's the way things are done. There is no gossiping and whatever. It's all done transparent and in the light, literally. And yes, people would get heated and there'd be but at least it's got out. And there would be a resolution. So I did this, and quite a few families. And then Filiberto, who was the chap that was with me, Spanish obviously, said, "Oh, this is a bit serious now," because they approached him. I said, and he said, "Be very careful how you respond to this very sort of sensitive matter. They have decided that you should marry one of their daughters, and then you'll become a full member. Obviously, marry in." He said, "Don't react in a, oh no, this sort of thing, be very sensitive." It turned out she was very beautiful, a bit younger than me, but I was young as well. But I mean, I wouldn't have had, you wouldn't have had any problems regarding the attractiveness. It wasn't like I felt, someone was dumping a daughter on me that they couldn't get married because she was a bit of a whatever, right? No. So I got out, but it's all karmic. It's incredible timing, actually. We told her white lies. It turned out it wasn't. I said, "Well, no, he's got things at home in England and he's got to go back and sort it, and doesn't know if he can do that, because it means he'd have to stay here." Within days of that happening, I did get a telegram, right? Because there was poste restante. So you could easily just tell your parents, where you were, the nearest post office, and they could send mail there. And I'd done that, and I'd go down the post office every now and then to see if there was a letter, right? And there was this time, there was a telegram. And how it was worded was cryptic, but my friends knew that it did mean the worst interpretation. "David involved in fatal accident. Come home immediately." Now I ifed and uffed and said, well, it could just mean, I've shared about that in another video, that he's been involved in a car accident, but someone else got killed, but it would really be a shock for him. But they said, no, we don't think that's what it means. Then I get a letter from my mother, who was very cold-hearted, but she had to do it. "No, it is to your brother." "Oh, but she told me that Caesar has taken his life." Da, 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 da. I then, foolishly, but luckily I've got turned back, decide to hitch back and get as far as the ferry, and then ask the father if I haven't got enough money or whatever to get across, which is stupid because as I found out when I started to get into the middle of Spain, it was cold when you started to get towards Madrid. And I only got as far as Seville, which is a magic place, And the car I was in nearly ran off the road and went down a cliff. It didn't, but it completely turned over. He was going a bit fast, basically. He lost control of it. The next person that came round the bend was a doctor. It's incredible, synchronicity. Right place, right time. He bandaged me up. I had a cut on my eyebrow, and he took me to his own back. It's on the way home surgery. The car's a bit of a write-off, so the other guy had to come with us, and he was just going to get a coach, I think. But then I got coach fare and put me on a coach, and I went back to Almeria. And so that I stopped from trying to actually hitch there. But then when I got back, my father had sent another telegram. He'd obviously learned that my mother and him were split up, but I'd been told this and I knew. He said, just get, I've sorted it all out, sort of thing. Just get to the local airport, which he'd sussed, where the nearest airport to me was. Tickets are waiting. So I just had to go there, which I did with my passport, and said, I've got a ticket here, blah, 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 and did, and flew home. He knew the time of the flight and was there to wait for me. And, the sort of welcome I got was somehow he was really cut up about that. And that he was just so glad that I was back, because I'd have gone as well. You see, I'd have been off. Who knows, once to Spain. I only had to get across to Morocco, that was looked at, and then off into Africa. And I would have gone literally the whole of Africa to explore. But it didn't. It stopped, and I flew home. Quite a dramatic experience. I think I'll share about that as well. I was like a fish out of water. My brother was my closest companion, and really took the wind out of my sails. When I did see people that were part of the scene and knew him, I found it very hard to take. They come, oh man, sorry to hear about your brother. And I dropped out, literally, of the scene, right? Suddenly, I didn't want to be part of, taking marijuana and part of the scene, whatever. I had to take up a new direction, but I didn't know where or what. It is sad, but it is right. I won't share that. And I ended up, this might not be exactly correct, timing wise. I was in Leicester. I'd had another psychotic break, so I'd been sectioned. And then they had to house me. And I clearly told to them, I said, I've had a drug problem in the past, so I don't want to go anywhere where there's drugs or anything and whatever. And that's exactly what did happen to me, because these are the least desirable places, right? And it was Leicester. It was in a one-way pedestrian, come street, so no cars could go up and down. But it was right across from one of the biggest drug dealing pubs in Leicester. And I had, not as if I'm colour prejudiced, but when you live somewhere like that, you boots on the other foot. It was a black or coloured person's area. I had dealers sat outside on my wall, all hours, I'm on, and all this going on. So I found it very hard to get to sleep. And it was like doing the gauntlet. I wouldn't go out at night. Imagine you're the only white man. Felt very threatened. I probably wasn't, but it could have been. And so the exact opposite of, even though I'd clearly put that, I've had problems with drugs in the past, blah, blah, blah. That's when, and then I prayed and sent up. Now the story is correct. That's it. Yeah. And couldn't see a way out of this, but knew I had to get out. There was no future here. I was trapped. I felt totally trapped. And it was the Jesus Fellowship Church who had what's called a mission in Leicester, and whose Jesus Army, which is like a young person's Salvation Army, that met me and didn't just pray for me in the meeting, came home, sussed out my situation and could see there was no future and I needed to get out, and they offered me a home. Literally, that was my new home, and I put up the thing. They helped me with that, move, terminate my rent. They were a bit reticent because I was under a psychiatrist there, but they said, no, we've got our own doctors, which they had. They've got their own doctors in the surgery, very well, together. And that's how I joined the Jesus Fellowship Church. And it was a clear answer to prayer. I got nowhere to go and no direction. Bob Dylan flashed in. No direction home, like a complete unknown. Yeah. Because I couldn't connect in with the people because of my brother committing suicide. There's no way, as I felt then, but things have changed. Because a lot of people don't see marijuana as a sacrament. It was a drug, and that wasn't how my brother saw it or how I did see it, but I now do. So I went to the church. I was there quite a few years. I've already shared about this. It was the first video I did. I was obviously baptized after being there a while, given various prophetic words, and it had what's called ministries for ministries, which I've done a video about. I'll never look at the time. I don't know. Oh no, 47 minutes. I mean, this is quite short for some. And there I was, you had to ask for this, but that was me. I wanted to get equipped, I wanted to serve, and I wanted clear indication of the direction I could go and serve. And I was told I got the gift of healing. There's another video when I see that, and because I read the whole thing out. It's called Ministries of Ministries, and that was in the 1st of March 1988. And I was given a virtue name, Lifebringer, which I've started, like everything with me, but I formally sent off, and it's been depolled, although they haven't finally done the final bit, but it's on file in London that my name will be and is being changed from Graham Clark to Graham Lifebringer, because it's my virtue name. It is given me by the church. Same as the Ministries of Ministries. All the brethren gather around. There's a meeting, there's prayer, obviously there's worship. And then people, anybody can contribute of what they think. Ministries I've moved in or possibly will move in. And then the elders summarize it in case there's some, people go over a bit at the top, but whatever. And then you have hands laid on you. Well, I think I must have had at least 20 people, if more, because if you couldn't actually get to the person to touch them, if you touched the person in front, you get the anointing came through all those people and was anointed for service. And that was prayer, healing, prophecy, to bring the cutting word, healing through bringing the word, wisdom. Oh, it's just whatever. And now I'm going through that process, as we would say in the Baptist Church, of moving into the power of your anointing. So you can backslide, which means you can forget all this, not do anything about it, and whatever, just live a selfish existence and, whatever. Now I haven't, and I started the process. Like I said, I have sent the deed poll off. So it's formally actually true now because it is on record in London. They store all this, and you can get other copies. And it's a bit of palaver though, so I haven't done it yet. You have to get it countersigned, and then all your bank accounts, banks, post office, whatever, anything you form of, library comes to mind as well. You can give them a copy of this deed poll, and that's you. Your name has changed. Now, I am going to shut this up. Yeah. And say bye for now. It's nearly an hour. And I will be getting down to edit them soon, because if this software can't do it, I certainly will be able to find software that can. And I've just got a vision of incorporating graphics, like I could have over the top of little short ones. I need Bosnian pyramid water. Can you help? Please contact me, blah, 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 blah. And that could be a graphic which is constantly putting out that message. You don't have to keep physically saying it. But I'll say this again, very keen to get hold of some Bosnian pyramid water. You know anybody that may have been to the Bosnian pyramids, please forward this video on. And hopefully it will connect in with someone that has. I will obviously pay the postage charges. You've just got to contact me either through Facebook. Well, it would be through that, and then we can either exchange emails, or we can even have a video chat if you've got that ability. So bye for now. I'm actually going to go back to bed. Well, yeah, it's weird. It's normally I go to bed and get up about 4 o'clock in the morning, but I've done it different. But there you go.